What's up, everybody? Travis here.
And the Freak Joe.
Moving right along through Michigan as we are hitting our freaky cemeteries on our freaky cemetery tour. Joe, where are we at now?
We are here at William Ganong Cemetery in Westland, Michigan, also known as Butler Cemetery, also possibly in Inkster, Michigan. It's unclear.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We learned that a lot. But regardless of the name, regardless of the location, it is a haunted cemetery, that's for sure.
That is true. That is what we are told. It was named after William Ganong, who donated the land in 1832 for the founding of the cemetery. Over 25 members of his family are buried here, including Albert Ganong, who at 17 years old died at Libby Prison in Richmond, Virginia, which I don't know the story of that, but it sounds interesting. About 350 people are buried here. They don't bury anybody else here anymore. It's closed. They're done.
Yeah, which would make sense because, I mean, based on the property here, it is pretty filled up and everything. We're going to tour, obviously, the main level here, but apparently there's an uphill over there that Joe's going to do because I'm not climbing hills. And then, yeah, we'll look for the Ganong family, see where they're buried at, see how many we can find, and is there any speculation on what the hauntings were?
Yes. So sometime in 1980, there was, the story goes that there was a psychic who was here for some reason, and while she was here, she noticed what she thought was a wig. And as she looked closer, she realized it was actually a scalp. And near the scalp were some shards of bone and pieces of old coffin. And it is now believed that the ghost of the blonde woman whose scalp was found, who lived in that coffin, well, not lived, was buried in that coffin, haunts the cemetery. So sometimes she's seen walking around by herself between the gravestones. Sometimes she's seen walking with someone in a gray uniform. Most often, the story goes that she haunts the curve outside the cemetery, where she sometimes appears just in time for you to swerve off the road to avoid hitting her. There's been at least one death and several injuries that have been caused by the apparition. So
we'll go check out the cemetery, show you some of the unique stones that are here. Again, this is a closed cemetery. They're not taking any new, so we're definitely going to get a lot of the old vintage looking stones here.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how new some of these stones go.
Yeah. So, you ready, Joe?
Yeah.
It's weird how it's kind of red. I didn't realize that. John, Adazila, John, Abel, Tinkham. There goes that 46 and 46. So young, wow. Mother and Father Parter. I think Potter family. Kleber. Okay. So we got the Ganong. Ganong family. So I'm gonna guess. Got Father William. Mother Isabel. And Glenn. Right at the front of the cemetery. some of the newer stones back there, but nothing really too unique. So I want to focus more on the front of this cemetery. Got Proctor. Like Joe mentioned in a recent video, a lot of these families kind of buried together. Got the Blake family. Abbott. Butler family, Masons, Coke, Kirkwood, 86. His wife Charlotte. And well, their daughter Charlotte too. Wow. You don't really see a lot of daughters named after their mothers. It's pretty cool. Bakers. More Butler family, as we saw over there. Got more Teacom family. Freeman. Eagles. Oh, get this branch out of the way. The Ganong family, they really have a lot of butlers buried here. And then one thing I could find interesting is that these are blocked off by concrete. And very quick of the last part over here. This tree grew over here in the, I think it's Bank family. So, and Houston. So, not a huge cemetery. It's about 300 people. It's unique.
In here from the back, we got the gate, I guess. Not much of a gate, but certainly an entrance. James, Catherine. We stand a wife guy, that's for sure. William Freeman Randall, 1810. Sinking into the ground here a little bit. Ground very soft up this hill, so that's a little nerve-wracking. Stones knocked over, fallen down. Some very old stones, very familiar to me from our other trips. Wow, that's beautiful. These are in really, really pretty good shape, except for the ones that are knocked over. I say I didn't expect to actually get the Ganong family over here. So we just know he died at the prison. We don't really know why. So I'm thinking this is probably the son. Nope, son of Jeremiah. Interesting. Definitely some older stones here. Another Ganong in the back there. Interesting. Lori Ann. It's interesting. I don't know if it's because it's on the hill or because it's not used anymore, but it's interesting how much these are allowed to just fall over. Alice Ainsworth. Several stones back there that have been grown over. Check them out in a minute, I think. Trying to work our way back over here. Check out some of these ones that have fallen over. There's more of the Ganong family, it appears to be. Mary Jane. Nice. Here again, Maury. Sweetles. Alright, so this seems to be the end of the Ganong plots. At least here. Oh, cat. A black cat. Ooh. So interesting. I like this rabbit one. I've never seen. Maybe it's just a rabbit statue next to it. 1942. original William Ganong. Wonder if that's why he gets the rabbit. I don't know. Saba, the wife of E.F. Bose? Interesting. Harris. James Brown. William Brown, maybe? Interesting. Markers there. John Hamill. I bet John Hamill was right there. Yeah, it's wild. You have to wonder, did people knock these down, or did they just crack over time from temperature and weather? Oh, there's some other ones hidden back here. I wonder why these ones are so unkempt. You know, what is it about this? Is it just that there's not really anybody to take care of it any longer, or... And yet they seem to take care of the rest of this just fine. Giles and Jane. Interesting. Carolyn, wife of A.W. Hammond. Stones here as well. For the most part, everything faces the road. But then we have this one. Which faces the other way. And I sort of wonder, once again, if it's just one facing the other way, is that because it's what was convenient? Or does it mean something? I don't know. I enjoyed that carving on this one. So this is very, very different. Clearly it's just I don't mean to say just a place to put people, but compared to Forest Hill Cemetery or Forest Home Cemetery, it's not really a park. It's not a place of recreation for the living. It's definitely a place of rest for the dead. But you have to think, it seems to me there must be room here for more if they wanted. I'm thinking they probably have a more recent cemetery. 1867 to 1943. Not too shabby. something there in the dirt that I just about tripped over. So then as I come back up and around here, these ones face this way. So Butler, by the way, is the other name for this cemetery. I'm thinking that maybe the Butler family is the other large family that's buried here. I feel as though in our travels, the only times cemeteries are really named after a family is when it's mostly that family that is buried there. I wonder if this is that family. Some snails. Nice. 1882. Oh yeah, look at this. Butlers. Fanny Butler, Josiah Butler, or Joseph Butler. Yeah. Mary Lamoureux. What a great name. And then you have these ones that have been restored, which is kind of cool. It's interesting. I wonder who does that? Who's in charge of that? Is there a local organization? Is it a family member of the deceased? Is it the city? I wonder if Patricia was buried somewhere else. Since she'd only be 8. She'd be 96. So if she's still alive, then maybe she would end up being the last person buried here. That's really interesting. I am fascinated by things being left for people, especially with no story attached. Most of the time when we see coins and things like that, it goes along with some story of some haunting child. So I am intrigued by this lone stone out here that doesn't face the same directions. And we notice everything else is sort of front and back to the road, and this one is perpendicular. So again, I wonder, is there some reason? I don't know. There's another Thomason. Cheney. I think we've seen a Cheney before. So it seems like a modern update. Maybe a family member who replaced it, or some kind of benefactor. I don't know. But that was my side of the cemetery. And we'll meet up with Travis T for the outro.
Alright guys, Freak Joe's showing up here, so we're going to close out this tour. Unique things, really soft ground.
Yes, very soft.
I was sinking into it, looks like it's mostly sand, but extremely soft. Saw the Ganong family, we saw that at the opening of it. And like Joe mentioned earlier on the recent video, a lot of families buried together, especially it looks like almost 3 different generations of Butler is buried here at this cemetery.
Yeah.
Joe, you're up on the hill. I thought you vanished, freaked me out for a minute.
Oh.
But what was your experience at the cemetery?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Up at the top of the hill, some more Ganong family, some more Butler family, Cheney family, and a Thompson family, or Tom Musson. Very interesting, mostly older up there at the top of the hill. A lot of stones that have fallen over time, or been knocked over by people. It's hard to tell. One of the things that was most interesting to me is there is a section on the far side where the stones have been retaken by nature. No one is mowing it for whatever reason. Yeah. One other interesting thing that I found was a person who her birth date is on there, but her death date is not yet. And so I don't know if she is going to end up being the last person buried here when she dies. She'd be 96 right now if she's still alive. Or if perhaps she got remarried and is buried somewhere else. Because the husband she would be buried next to died in the 50s.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like we don't know like if people are still going to end up where they're supposed to, or if they just end up somewhere completely different.
Right.
Definitely a cool cemetery. If you guys are in the area, make sure you come check out here. If you have any information on the stories, go.
I had one potentially spooky thing. I don't know if you had any spooky things.
I didn't feel. I mean, being in the area, there's always like an ominous presence, but nothing that makes me think like I'm being watched. Anything like that. No.
Yeah. So as I crested that ridge,
solid word.
Thank you. A black cat ran in through the front of the cemetery gate and ran back toward the woods, and I haven't seen it since. I didn't see it go up over the fence or anything, so.
Okay.
Like it.
Ominous. Well,
yeah.
If you guys have any stories like that or any other stories visiting this particular cemetery, if you have any stories you want to share with us about the lady in white who causes the accidents on the curve, share with us, comment below. We love hearing the stories. And we respond and everything. And if you're not yet, make sure you are subscribed to our channel so you can see the rest of this series. And you can also check out the other series we did as far as Wisconsin, Indiana, and Illinois. So, guys, that's all I got. As always, I am Travesty.
I'm the Freak Joe.
And thank you for coming along with us on the Haunted Cemetery Tour of Michigan.